So, according to my YouTube statistics, you guys apparently like talking about big dicks.
What did he say?
So I guess give the people what they want. If y'all want the cake, who am I to withhold? I am just here to throw it back to you, the people. So I say,
Let them eat
Cake.
all right. Let's push this thing deeper. We're trying to touch your D spot, your D zone, your discomfort zone. Because as they say, you don't grow in your comfort zone. And we are all growers here on this channel.
Hold on, pause.
Jokes aside, maybe we should start by acknowledging that the term big dick energy, or BDE, is kind of messed up. It's a very popular term used to describe confidence in the modern world, but it would have been a laughable term in many alternate cultures and timelines. And let's just hold up a mirror for a second and have a good look at it for a moment. Because what if we kept this same energy for women, equating their self-esteem and confidence to their bodies? Would it be okay to say fat girl energy when a woman is presenting insecure behavior patterns, or skinny girl energy for self-assured women? I'm all for free speech, but I'm an even bigger advocate for accurate speech. So should we really be equating people's body parts and types to their character qualities? Because if you want to live by that sword, then you must also be willing to die by that sword as well, you filthy hypocrite. Okay, so now that we got the allergy information out of the way, let's get to the main course. What we are going to be talking about for the next 5 to 10 minutes is energy. More specifically, the type of energy associated with the aforementioned BDE. First, I thought of something. Let's just start by reframing that acronym to big dog energy, because that paints a better picture of the point I'm going to attempt to make in this video anyways. For example, if you were walking down an alley at night in downtown Chicago, would you feel safer with a big old boy like a Cane Corso by your side, or with a Pomeranian or a Brussels Griffin? I think the answer to that question is both obvious and unanimous. And yes, while this is a physical example, and this idea of BDE does apply to the physical realm. For example, being a physically intimidating 6'5" and 260-pound unit will give you default big dog status. But what we are talking about here goes far beyond the physical. Besides, there's no shortage of people who present on the outside as the big dog, muscles, tats, trucks, money, weapons, whatever, who still have wounded little dog energy. Like many Navy SEALs or other such high-level danger zone experienced individuals attest, it's rarely the guy who is the loudest on the outside who has the biggest dog in him. That's not the guy who is the most capable. That's not the guy who is the most cool and calm under fire. That is not the guy who handles rejection well. That's not the guy that you trust with fragile, high-stakes situations.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
You see the same thing with wealth. The wealthiest people are not the ones constantly flexing their money. And the rich people who do that, well, that's often because they are the ones who are making their millions because they promote materialism and consumerism on social media. Think of the Kardashians or even Andrew Tate. People like that flex their wealth, snap their fingers, and you brokies buy whatever it is that they are selling. I digress. My point is, big dog energy exists beyond the physical and material world. And that is actually where it is most potent and most noticeable. You can see it in the way some people move. You can hear it in their voices. You can almost smell it on them if they're operating in a state of anxiety and fear, or in a state of confidence and peace. Are they short-tempered and impatient? Are they hesitant and overcome with self-doubt? Are they constantly overthinking and oversharing? Do they lie? Are they incessantly apologizing? Do they make themselves appear small and harmless to hide and avoid conflict? Or do they puff themselves up like a pufferfish, like a bag of hot air to try and ward off conflict that way? And now think about the dogs at the dog park. Think of how the stereotypical young, poorly socialized little dogs act. They are either fearful, submissive cowards or yappy, overreactive egomaniacs. And then think of the stereotypical big old dog. Unless there is a real threat, that dog is stoic and unbothered. I hope this dog-shaped cookie cutter analogy is making some sense and helping you digest the food for thought that I'm attempting to serve up. But I guess you could also encapsulate everything I'm saying by simply understanding the difference between living in an energetic state of fear or in an energetic state of love. That's really what we are talking about here. It's that simple. Fear or love. They don't coexist. They're like oil and water. Fear is desperate, insecure, anxious, depressed, reactive, jealous, comparative, volatile, short-tempered, and love is the opposite of all of those things. Basically, I'm saying if you want to have BDE, you need to embody the frequency of love, and in doing so, fear begins to lose its foothold over your energy. You want peace to walk beside you, but fear and insecurity can be very insidious. It can hide behind the facade of power. Allow me to use this guy's content as an example. His entire channel is dedicated to advising men on how to move like an alpha male.
Simply taking a seat. If you're not paying attention, you start looking around and drop it. That's gonna take away from your first impression. Lowers your status. And people around you not gonna take you seriously. Which man would you rather shake hands with? This man right here or this man? Decide for yourself. Make sure not to use underhand grip when carrying the folder. Making it all about the folder but not about yourself. You grab the folder, approaching the business meeting in this manner. How does it look? Never come out with your head forward. I look very uncomfortable, pinched, small. You gotta make sure you translate comfort and flow. Don't come around and serve the car closing the door. Business partner that I'm meeting first time, seen that. What do you think they would think of me?
Imagine being so insecure and hyper fixated on your fear of judgment and being so desperate for constant validation that you choreograph everything in your life down to how you brush your teeth because you wouldn't want your wife to ever catch you brushing up against your gag reflex with your wrist cocked. Like, how exhausting. Talk about small dog energy. Anyways, that's enough throwing shade for today. All I'm saying is don't take yourself so seriously. Stop being so reactive. Slow down. Breathe. Quit moving through life like that squirrel Scrat from Ice Age, hyperventilating over chasing a nut every second of every day, which is some of y'all out there. Slow down. Breathe. Be at peace. You have no enemies. Don't worry about a thing because every little thing is going to be all right. The thing about BDE is that it is all about self-assurance, which naturally brings a sense of calm and safety to everyone within its radius. And that sense of peace must radiate from the inside out. It's disarming. It's not aggressive. It's patient. It's not attached to the outcomes. Speaking of patience, patience is so key. I've said it before. The length of a person's fuse exposes the size of their mentality. Short-tempered people are small, wounded, scared, starving dogs, energetically speaking. So be slow to anger. Truly confident people do not live at the mercy of their emotions. Another way to describe what I'm talking about is an abundance mindset versus a scarcity mindset. BDE is about abundance. There is an abundance of D. And I'm just going to say this. For me, my faith has been a powerful factor in developing a stronger abundance mindset. the ability to surrender to God's plan for my life, knowing that I am never given a battle too great for my capacity, knowing that I am beautifully and wonderfully made, that I am created in the image of God, that I have been given talents that I must invest in, aligning myself with biblical standards instead of comparing myself to the world's expectations, in knowing that no matter what happens in my outside circumstances, my faith and my integrity cannot be taken from me. I have found that there is a level of security and strength that comes from being anchored to a belief system bigger than my ego. But I get that not everyone is going to be ready or want to walk down that aisle, so I'll leave it there for those who have ears to hear. Now, to move the conversation towards more physical and practical application rather than spiritual, I believe competence is one of the foundations of confidence. If you feel capable, you will feel confident. If you trust in your skill set, you will be able to remain calm. Whereas if you feel incapable, you will quickly feel overwhelmed and fearful. Another parallel I've observed with this idea of BDE has been in my recent experiences of learning jiu-jitsu. On one end of the spectrum, you have the inexperienced, incapable, spazzy white belts, and on the other, the seasoned veterans of the sport, which is in a way similar to the contrast between the small young puppies and the big old dogs. Between the two camps, who do you think possesses more patient, calm, self-assured movement? Who has more confidence in their competence? The most dangerous guys in the gym will literally let you put them in compromised positions, try to teach you things, and don't just go around smashing everyone to prove a point to their ego. Well, of course you come across a few types who are like that, but you learn quick to avoid them and nobody likes them anyways. So you don't want to be that guy. Bottom line, one practical way to increase the size of the dog inside of you is to build real-world experience, skill, and competence. To become the warrior in the garden rather than the gardener in the war, so to speak. Going out into the world and learning life skills, whether it be learning how to fish or cook or kickbox or grow your own food or build a motorcycle or how to sew a blanket, all such things, especially anything very physical and hands-on that has some tie to survival skills, will increase your sense of self-reliance, resilience, and competence. And the other thing that begins to happen as you put yourself out there to learn new things is that you start to build a better relationship with your ego and with winning and losing. People with BDE have a default setting towards winning. They have a stronger innate belief that they can do all things through Christ who strengthens them. And such a mindset can be built over time as well. How? By accruing more wins. The more you win, the more you will be able to believe that you will win. Often, this is the crux that separates the big dogs from the puppies. Winning and losing separates those who are operating in a state of fear and those who are operating in a state of love. Some people are so afraid of failure or success or judgment that they either never try at all, or they will lie, cheat, steal, and destroy to ensure that they always win. True actualization happens when you are able to win or lose and remain in a state of love. Real winners can lose, but still win, because their value is not attached to the outcomes, because their confidence is not attached to the external validation. Ask yourself, if everything you have was stripped away from you, what would you have left? Would you still be confident in the size of your dog? Who are you behind closed doors? When you look into the eyes staring back at you in the mirror every day, what do you see? What are you afraid of? For me, I think I'm at a place now where I'm highly confident in my skills and abilities. I'd even say overconfident at times. I've got a lot going for me and I embrace that. But I still remain very fearful of two things above all else: social rejection and the fear of not being good enough. So I often find myself avoiding engaging in situations where I may have to face those fears. I stay reclusive from building close, intimate relationships with people, and I stick to what I know I'm good at for the most part. I've experienced pain in both of these areas at different times in my life, and I'd say that those are the two areas where I'm currently seeking to continue to push past my fears. From learning to drive a stick shift, to learning to ride a motorcycle, to competing in jiu-jitsu, to public speaking engagements at events and schools, I've grown exponentially. Like I said, I'm a grower. But I still definitely hold back from allowing anyone close to me, at least outside of romance, where I also feel confident and validated. You see, it's easy to wear a mask of BDE if you avoid the things that scare you. I hope you found this video valuable and that it encourages you to open a few new doors to some new conversations with yourself, so you can ask yourself some new questions and find the answers that only you can answer. Get out there and keep growing.